Ever watch those guitar channels that take a inexpensive, i.e. cheap guitar and mod it with parts that cost way more than the guitar itself? Yeah, I think it is slightly ridiculous. We will be taking this, which is a Antiquity Firebird, and modding it with some parts that are just as inexpensive as the guitar itself, and hopefully see whether we can make it sound and play better. I have no idea whether this is going to work, but let's find out. As I mentioned, this is an Antiquity Firebird, which costs just under, I think, 150 bucks. Look, it's a good guitar. I like it. I have no idea where it's made. I'm assuming China. The parts are all working, but they're not great. I bought it because I really like the shape and I wanted to get my hands on one. And it's an okay guitar. It doesn't stay in tune particularly well. It doesn't sound particularly good, but there's something about it which I still like. What I'm hoping for is that with some smart thinking, some good shopping, we'll be able to upgrade it with some really cheap parts bought from various sources around the interweb, and hopefully transform it into something that plays better, stays better in tune, and sounds better, most importantly. So here's the plan. We are going to put some new tuners on it because these ones are just average. They don't really work very well. It takes ages to tune up. They jump all over the place. They're not bad, but they can be better. Then we are going to replace the pickups. I have no idea what these pickups are. There's no information on the website. I'm assuming they're just inexpensive ceramic mini humbuckers, but I really don't know. The neck is decent. The bridge I find is not very good. It's a bit thin sounding, so I would like to replace these with something with a little more character. And finally, we're going to replace this whole bridge area. And not because it doesn't work, but I just want to experiment on something really cheap. So at this stage, all we got to do is get our tools out and let's give it a try. Big disclaimer, I have no idea how this is going to go. It could be good, it could be a complete disaster. Let's just do it together. Okay, here we are. I've got my little trusty tools, and I know what you're thinking. What's he doing with the guitar on his lap? Well, you know, this channel is not about fancy tables. We are doing things on the spur of the moment, and we're just going to see together if we can make it work. So I guess the starting point is let's get those strings off. And yes, I know we should do it in a certain way, but screw it. I just want to go through and cut all the bloody strings. Done. Just remove that, remove that. Let's put them neatly somewhere. Okie dokie, so you know what, at the moment we can take that off as well because we won't need it. Let's get those strings off. Oh, and by the way, one thing I did forget, if you want to call it a mod, but I don't really think it's a mod, but this guitar had the original factory strings, which quite frankly were rubbish. So what I'm going to do is put some D'Addario NYXLs on it because they're my favorite strings, and they're not cheap, they're not expensive. I think they're right price, and you know what? For me, they feel and sound the best. So that's also going to be replaced. But let's finish taking these off. Okay, now that the guitar is feeling slightly more naked, what should we start off with? I think we should take these tuners off and start with a nice easy job. I am going to speed this up, by the way. Oh, and guys, a little disclaimer. If you care about the guitar that you're modding, or if you don't want to ding it up, don't do it this way. Get a proper neck rest, put it on a table, put some protective material around the areas you're working on, because you are going to scratch it. To be honest, I don't care about scratching this one, simply because I hopefully one day will manage to relic it and maybe take the finish off. I definitely want to take this thick poly finish off the neck, Not because it's sticky or anything, but I just like the feel of satin neck better than this. So I definitely will do it, but I'm not doing it the right way. So please don't do this at home if you care about your instrument. Okay, so this brings us to our first inexpensive part that we're going to put. And that's going to be the tuners. And what I got is some 6 and 9 left-handed, obviously because it is a reverse headstock, Geiger locking tuners. If you're not aware of Geiger, to be honest, I have no idea who they are. They sell mainly on Amazon and other sites like Amazon. But you know what? I've used them on a couple of projects and they're very inexpensive and the quality is really, really not bad. So I will put all the links below, but I think they'll be a very good upgrade for this guitar. Also, because locking tuners, first of all, if they work properly, the guitar should stay better in tune. And second of all, it just makes restringing a lot easier and quicker. And that's something I'm really keen on, is just saving time, because I hate restringing. So anything that will make it easier is good for me. So let's try and fit these. I'm assuming they will fit, but let's give it a try. We got the little screws. Actually, we could have used the original ones, but hey, I've gone for the all black look. I think it's kind of cool. Okay, let's start fitting these. So first one is on. I'll tighten them later. Let's get the second one going. Put that nicely in. Done. We'll tighten everything at the end, like we always do. Third one is also in. And tuners, guys, seriously, it's one of the most underrated part of the guitar. If your tuners are crap, you've got some real issues. And it's not obviously about the sound, it's about enjoying playing the guitar and not having to retune every 20 seconds. Fifth one is going in. And last one, we can throw this out. Okay, let's turn this baby the other way around. Jesus Christ, these things are tiny. How do people even manage to open this shit? Okay, let's do it. God, this is tiring. Remember, tighten everything, but don't over tighten it. Last one is in. Okay. Turn them around, give this a final tweak. Okie dokie. First part is done. What should we move on to? The pickups or the bridge? No, let's leave the pickups for last. Let's go to the bridge. Let's do the bridge. Now, the bridge was fine. There's obviously a lot of debate on whether a cheap-ass bridge will resonate less and transfer less vibrations to the body of the guitar and all that. But my main reason to change this bridge here was simply because, you know what? I wanted to try a roller bridge on it. Just for shits and giggles, I can do it. So let's do it. Fizz again, really inexpensive. I know, please don't judge. This certain brand here sent it to me. I never used it. I kept it for 6 months. But let's just try putting it on. And yes, my identity might be at risk. But let's see what happens. I've also changed the posts simply because I can, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So this should again be a straight, really easy replacement. Hopefully the spacing is right. Yay! Now, just so you see, this is the original bridge that comes on these antiquity guitars. To be honest, it's just scrap metal, I think. It doesn't look or feel very good. Now, this is the replacement roller bridge that I got from that retailer. There's no branding on it, but it does actually feel heavier. It feels slightly better. It looks like there's brass rollers here. So let's see. Hopefully it should be a straight, easy fix. Let's give it a try. I just need to figure out which way around it goes, because obviously You never get instructions, do you? Yeah, it's that way. So let's get rid of this old crap part. By the way, I am a roller bridge virgin, so I have no idea what I'm doing. Just putting it out there. There's always a first time for everything, right? I'm assuming this is how it works. Ooh. Okay, so what I've had to do is also take the posts out because they are slightly different for the roller bridge. What's really funny is, look at this nice little shimmy they've put in here. Great job. Both posts have them. You know what? I'm just going to leave them in there. I have no idea what they were thinking or doing. But let's not question it. That's like, oh, I've lost the post already. So these are the new posts. Straight swap. Let's push these in with my superhuman strength. This one needs a bit of bashing. But you know what? Oops, I just dinged the guitar. Oh well, who cares? So, they're both in. Let's put these new post, thumb, whatever they're called, in there. Obviously, we are going to have to reset the guitar up, but that's life. I'm just gonna put them roughly where I think they belong. Because I'm gonna have to do a setup anyway. So there you go. Now the moment of truth. Let's get this bad boy on there. Look, I may be doing this completely wrong, and I am sure that 2,000 people will tell me so in the comments. And please, any of my good friends that are guitar makers, don't comment. I know I'm doing everything wrong. That's life. There you go. Guys, we are in. We are in. The eagle has, so to speak, landed. Let me put this little grub screw back in there. As someone who doesn't like Floyd Roses because of all this faffing about, this is taking way too long. So, final bit, and this is probably the part that costs the most. These two mini humbuckers are Warman. I think they're called firebuckers, and I'm really curious to see what difference that makes to the tone. Now, little disclaimer, I've not tried Warman Pickups before, but they've been recommended by a few people. Usually my first choice for inexpensive aftermarket pickups is Tone Rider. I find Tone Rider pickups really, really good, but let's give Warman guitars a try. And let's see what they sound like. So let's get rid of these. Now, I can tell you, the only thing that's making me really nervous is this bridge, by the way. But, hey, if you don't live dangerously, you'll never know. Oh, by the way, just so you guys know, this is all on me. Not sponsored in any way. I don't see why they would sponsor me. I mean, butchering their parts, but hey. So these are the Warman Pickups. Surprisingly, they are quite a bit heavier than the previous ones. This one's the neck. Okay guys, pickups have been fitted. I saved you the soldering experience, etc. But bridge pickup is already done. The only thing we need to do is now just tighten the screws of the neck. All we need to do now is put a fresh set of strings on, and then we will listen to a sample of this guitar before and after the changes, and then we'll finally draw up our conclusions. Let's do it. Oh, and one final thing. Once I'm putting the strings on, as I always do when I'm changing strings, you've got to lube your nut. So a bit of nut sauce keeps everything nice and lubricated. Okie dokie guys, strings are on. So fantastic. That was really quick actually with the locking tuners. So much easier. I have managed to set the action about right. It's not crazy low, but it's about right. And it feels okay. It's not choking out anywhere. Just remember, when I plug in, the strings are new. I stretch them out, but it takes a little time for them to settle in. So if it goes out of tune, don't panic. It's okay. Like there. All we have left to do is cut off the little strings at the end so we don't poke anyone in the eye with them. Although a lot of people deserve that, but hey. There you go, just at the end, done. Put those away. So all that's left now is for me to plug in and do a little sound demo. But before we do that, look at this little clip that I recorded earlier, just to see what the guitar sounds like originally with the stock pickups, tuners, bridge, etc. After we do that at the end, we'll just draw up our conclusions and I'll tell you what the whole experience was like and what I think in terms of ease of use, playability, if it actually made any difference, if it made the guitar worse, better. So stick around. Okay, so I'm now plugged in. I'm more or less in tune. Let's see what it sounds and feels like. Let's start off with the bridge pickup. Okay guys, let's wrap this up. Final thought time. So, I think actually it's pretty cool what just happened. Because, you know what? Let's just forget about the sound for a second. I actually think that just playability, the fact that the tuning is actually a lot better. So the Geiger locking tuners is such a massive upgrade to the stock ones that were on here. I think that's made a world of a difference actually. So really impressed with the Geiger stuff again. It took me seconds to retune this up. It took me seconds to restring up. Definitely worth a buy. So this would give it a massive thumbs up. In terms of the bridge, look, for the moment, I don't actually know if it's making any difference. I've got to say the setup was very easy. In conjunction with the nut and the tuners, it's actually holding really well. It doesn't tie, it doesn't bind anywhere. I put a little bit of nut sauce on the bridge as well, just to make sure everything's lubricated. The intonation was super easy to do as well. I think it sounds slightly sparklier with this bridge, if that's at all possible. I think slightly more lively, even acoustically. So it's just very interesting. I'll give it a kind of mid thumbs up, thumbs down, because I don't know at the moment. But look, it's cool, it's holding tune, it was easy to put on there, so for the moment it's fine. As a cheap replacement, it's doing the job. That's all I wanted it to do, really. Now let's come to the big one, these Warman pickups. They sound a lot less muddy than whatever was in there before. Again, I don't know what was in there before. I know there were mini humbuckers, I know there were ceramic, but I have no idea if they were any brand or if they were just random ones. But whatever it is, I find that both in the neck and the bridge, they sound a lot clearer, maybe lower output, but they definitely cut out that mud, that kind of squishy tone, covered tone that the other pickups have. So look, I think for whatever the price of these is, and they'll appear on screen somewhere here, it's a good upgrade. I'm happy with them. It gives a very vintage feel to the sound of this guitar. I think it's a definite good upgrade. There isn't that much competition in terms of getting mini humbuckers. There's Wilkinson, but there isn't that much. I wanted to try something else. So for the moment, they sound decent. So I'll give these guys a thumbs up as well. Definitely. The neck pickup makes a massive difference. The other one wasn't too bad, but it was really a bit too muddy, a bit too round. This one just cleans that sparkle, that high end off. So I'm really happy with the neck. The bridge is very twangy, but nice. I like it. Suits this guitar well. It's not a high gain guitar, so output, they sound decent. Overall, if I have to give my conclusion, was it worth me spending my time modding these 3 parts? I think yes. And I showed, I think, especially with the tuners, how it's definitely worthwhile, and you don't have to put 150 buck tuners on here. Geiger, really great brand, very happy, like inexpensive, and it makes a massive difference. The other bits, this part from the T brand, I don't know, definitely not worth putting, you know, anything massively expensive as a bridge. This does its job. It's cool. The rolling bridge actually is cool. I think it has a slightly different sound, but it may be the pickups as well. And finally, the pickups. I think it's a definitely cool, worth upgrade. Look, the bottom line is if you have some mini Seymour Duncan or bare knuckle mini humbuckers anywhere, put them in, be my guest. But that's not the point. The point is I'm not going to spend the amount of money I spent on the guitar just on replacing the pickups, because I don't think this is really worth it. But as a first mod, as a first upgrade, etc., definitely very cool. So I think overall it is worth looking around, smart shopping. Go read the reviews, because there are some very inexpensive products that can make your very inexpensive guitar just that little bit better, even if it's just the tuners or the pickups. Obviously, there's a lot more you could do, change the wiring, all that. I haven't touched any of that, but there's a lot of things that you can do to your guitar without spending a lot of money that can make it sound and feel a lot better. I hope that was useful. Little disclaimer, I know before you guys start yelling at me, a sound comparison isn't supposed to be done with 2 sets of different strings, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what, that's life. I couldn't do it in any other way for the moment, so tough. But this wasn't really a scientific test. It was just to get a general feel on whether it's worth it or not. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. I hope this was a fun little video. Let's do it again. Maybe let's take some of this finish off. I don't know. Put down in the comments what you guys think. If you guys have tried Warman Pickups or the Geiger tuners, what you guys think overall. And if you can, please like, subscribe, do all that business so the robots are happy. And as always, please remember to be good to each other, be nice, play guitar, have fun, enjoy what this beautiful life brings us. Rock on, guys. See you later. Thanks for watching.